Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope you're having a lovely week so far. It's so exciting that we are now at a point where we can offer these limited classes in studio. I'm so grateful that you're all still joining me this way, and hopefully I'll get to see you all in person soon, because I miss you very much, and this time it just feels almost like a whirlwind, right? We've gone through so much collectively over the past couple months, and we're just still in this like insane, tumultuous time, right? And I just believe deeply, as a teacher and a student and a member of so many different communities, that I am so grateful to be able to have this practice of yoga that I can use to help me get through everything, and also to be able to hold space for others, which I think is one of the most important things that we can do. You know, when you have the ability to hold space, whether it's to listen, whether it's just to stand by while others are grieving. There's so much grieving and anger right now happening across the world, in our country, in our communities. It can be such a confusing time, and it can just be like really hard on all of us emotionally. So just know that my thoughts are with you. Just know that you're very loved, and you are loved, right? And this practice is one of these beautiful ways that we can express this love, which is truth, right? It's where we can be with ourselves, be silent with ourselves, get inside our bodies and move, work some of that confusion and stress and pain, just work it out, right? So this is what I have been aiming to offer to you all. Not that I know the answers, because I don't. And I will say that even my practice has not been necessarily what it should be during these times, but just know that you're all doing great, and how remarkable it is to just exist, right? And to have a purpose, if this is the only thing that you're doing today. And I doubt it is, because all of you are so amazing, and you do so many things every day, whether it's mothering, working, maybe you're using your voice right now to activate something, whatever, in your community. Just know that you are very loved, and you are love. That is the light that exists within all of us, right? That creates this equality among us. Whether others believe it or not, I mean, that's how we're all connected, right? This prana. So here we are, and we're gonna practice moving the prana through our body, and what a fucking beautiful practice that is. So we'll start in just a seated position, Sukhasana, or maybe you're in a Vajrasana. Maybe you're on your knees with your heels underneath your glutes. Maybe you're in lotus or half lotus. Up to you. And because of all the tumultuousness in the world, I feel like starting our practice out today with just a moment of silence. I want you to begin, fostering that idea of setting intention for your practice. If we can take this 50 minutes or so that we're going to be here together, and if we can begin practicing setting intention for this time, right, then we can begin setting intentions for our day, for our week, for everything that we do. So this is a practice inside of itself, and setting an intention is a way to manifest something Um, and one thing that I want to, something that we teach or practice in a Yoga Nidra practice, is that the intention, or your sankalpa, becomes not something that you're working towards, but something that you already have. Maybe it's something that you really want, and you don't feel like you have it. But I promise you that if you practice setting an intention, as instead of saying, you know, I want happiness and health, but instead you say, I have happiness and health, because I promise you that everything that you could ever want already lives inside of you. This is something that I've learned through my yoga practice. Then eventually it becomes your truth. So whatever your intention is today, I want you to go ahead and rest your palms face up or face down. Whatever is more comfortable. Maybe you find a mudra. And I want you to relax into your seat. So begin to carry your shoulders over the hips. Bring your chin down a little so that the crown of your head is reaching up over your shoulders. And as you breathe in and out deep breaths, each exhale, allow your shoulders to fall away from your ears. Closing the eyes, allowing your eyebrows to unfurrow. Easy breaths. And on the inhale, I want you to imagine your prana, that energy, flowing up and down the spine. Each inhale taking the energy from your seat, filling up all the way to the tip of your head. Exhale, allowing it to run all the way back down your spine. Now with each inhale, allow that energy to fill up your entire body and hold at the top, your body just full. Maybe your light is white, maybe it's golden, whatever color it is, fill yourself up. And on the exhale, release all that no longer serves you. Each inhale, filling yourself up with that good, beautiful energy. Holding it, brimming with it. And then exhale, release all that no longer serves you. Keep moving through this visualization as you set your intention. Your intention is an I am statement or an I have statement. Giving yourself that thing, whatever it is, in this present moment, knowing that you have it inside already. Next, exhale, sending your chin down just a couple inches as you allow the eyes to flutter open. Coming onto your hands and knees, we'll begin in a tabletop. Stacking knees underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders. We'll begin moving through cat-cow. We'll start gently at first, allowing your belly to sag down towards the mat as you open up the shoulders and lift your gaze. Cow pose. Exhale, belly button to spine, chin to chest, spreading apart through your shoulder blades. Inhale, opening the chest, belly button sags. Exhale, angry cat. Keep moving through this at your own pace. Waking up the spine. Moving with the breath. Next, inhale, finding a neutral spine, flat back, pulling the belly button in, sending your knees together, lifting the right leg up behind you, sending that heel towards the wall behind you, engaging your leg fully, turning your right toe in towards the center line, keeping your hips in alignment with one another. Reaching through the crown of your head. Keep pressing through the heel as you send the toes towards your face. You can stay right here, or maybe you lift the left fingertips up towards the ceiling, reaching out through your fingertips and the crown of your head. It's like you're being pulled in both directions here. Belly is engaged, engaging everything. You can stay here, or exhale, send your knee to elbow. Inhale, extend it back out. Exhale, knee to elbow. Extend it back out. Knee to elbow. Extend it back out. Staying here for 2 breaths, or maybe you reach the left hand back, reaching for your back foot, creating this bow shape. 1 more breath. Exhale, release. Take it long. And then send the hand and the knee down towards the mat. Move through a couple cat-cows here. Sending your knees together. Left leg comes out behind you, pressing that heel into the wall behind you, sending the left toes in towards the center line. Hips are even. Keep pressing through the heel as you send the toes towards your face. Maybe you reach the right hand up and out. Crown of your head stays towards the wall in front of you, reaching your fingertips, palms open towards the ceiling. You can stay here or exhale, knee to elbow. Crunching. Inhale, release. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Extend. You can stay here reaching for 2 breaths, or you reach the right hand back for the left foot, opening up bow shape. Exhale, release, send it long. And then send the knee and the hand back down to the mat. Curling the toes under here. Sending the hands out. About half a foot, curling the toes under, lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. You can have the knees bent here, depending on how open your hamstrings are. Coming up on your toes here maybe. And then exhale to send the heels down towards the mat as you reach the hips up towards the ceiling. Taking a look at your hands, your pointer fingers are pointed towards the corners of the mat. You're opening the eyes of your elbows towards the room in front of you. The palm of your hand is like a suction cup, right? Shoulder blades away from each other and up towards your seat. Keep lifting up through your hips as you send your heels down. We'll take 10 deep breaths here. gazing at the back of your mat or up at your knees or groin. You have 5 more deep breaths. Keep lifting through the hips, sending the heels down, shoulder blades apart, away from your ears. 3 more deep breaths. Inhale, coming forward, plank pose. You may have to heel toe your feet out, bringing the shoulders over your wrists, sending the heels towards the back of the room, sending the knees down, finding knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, slithering forward, baby cobra. Exhale, bring the forehead down to the mat, keeping the hands where they are. Inhale, lift up for baby cobra, opening through the shoulders, sending the elbows towards one another, puffing through the kidney band. Exhale, forehead down. Inhale, lifting up baby cobra. Exhale, forehead down. Inhale, lift up baby cobra. Maybe you allow your fingertips to hover. Keep sending the elbows towards one another. Shoulder blades in. Exhale, forehead down. Inhale, lifting the fingertips, hovering, baby cobra. Exhale, forehead down. Keep sending your elbows in this time, keeping the fingertips down, lifting a little bit higher, keeping a slight bend in your elbows for cobra pose. Exhale, forehead down. 3 more times. Inhale, lifting up, cobra pose. Maybe you lift a little higher. Exhale, forehead down. 2 more. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, forehead down. Inhale to lift up, full cobra here. Slight bend in the elbows, elbows towards your ribs, shoulder blades in, opening through the chest. Maybe you lift your gaze. Exhale, coming down, creating a little pillow with your hands for your forehead and resting here, allowing your heels to open up to the outer edges of the mat. Inhale, coming up, bringing your hands back towards your ribs, elbows in, lifting up, finding your tabletop pose. We're gonna take a puppy pose here. So you can have a block puppy pose ultimately if you want to check it out. I'm keeping my hips over my knees and I'm coming out. It's a nice chest opener, right? So you can have your forehead on the block here. You can bring your forehead down to the mat, but ultimately you're working towards bringing your chin onto the mat. It can feel a little bit uncomfortable in the armpit area. We're gonna take 6 deep breaths here, wherever you are. Next, inhale, slowly coming up onto the forearms, coming back into your tabletop, Curling the toes under, downward facing dog. We'll be here 10 more breaths. So finding your down dog that works best for you. Lifting up through the center of the hands, shoulder blades apart and shoulders away from your ears, heels reaching down towards the mat, lifting the seat. Four more deep breaths. Inhaling, walking the toes forward in between your hands. Heels as wide as your hips. We'll inhale to half lift here. Exhale, forward fold, letting the head just hang. Your knees can be bent. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, fold just a little bit deeper, letting the crown of your head fall towards the earth, allowing your brain to drain. Maybe shaking your head yes and no. Bringing your hands to your hips, coming up to a half lift, and then bringing your way all the way to standing. Once you found standing, align your heels underneath your hips. We're pulling the lower belly in, okay? Lifting the toes, allowing the toes to fall onto the earth. All four corners of your feet equal. Lifting Mula Bandha, your pelvic floor. Pulling the low belly in. Allowing your shoulders to fall away from your ears. Hands can be at heart center, Samasthihi. Reaching the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Maybe close your eyes. Everything's engaged. Lifting the knees even here. Releasing the hands out to either side of the body. As you inhale, lift up. Reaching your fingertips, taking a tiny back bend here. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Releasing the hands, lifting them up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Imagine that you're reaching through your aura as you reach the hands, reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring it back to heart center. 2 more times, lifting up. Hands to heart center, last one. Reaching the hands out and up. Bringing the hands together, taking a tiny back bend. Exhale, hands come to heart center as you forward fold. Half lift. Plant the hands and step back to plank pose. Hips even with your shoulders here, working the toes back if you need to. You can drop your knees or slowly to the count of 4, 3, elbows in, 2, you're at Chaturanga, 1. All the way down to the mat, release the toes, inhale, Cobra pose. Exhale, bring the chest down, curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Walking the toes forward, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, hands to heart center as you forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. You can drop the knees, take knees, chest, and chin, or you can bring it down to the mat for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for a back bend. Exhale, curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Tiptoeing up to the top of the mat. We'll half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting all the way up, reaching your fingertips, tiny back bend. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. We'll half lift. You can plant the hands, hop back if you'd like to, directly into your chaturanga, or step back to plank and move through your flow. If chaturanga dandasana is in your practice, go there. Inhale, cobra up dog. Exhale, down dog is where we'll meet. Hop, step, or jump, top of the mat. Half lift, forward fold. Inhale, lifting all the way up, reaching your fingertips, tiny back bend, hands to heart center. Let's do one more. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Half lift. Plant the hands, move through your flow. Inhale, up dog cobra. Exhale, down dog. Hop, step, or jump, top of the mat. We'll inhale to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift all the way up, reaching your fingertips. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Taking 3 breaths here. If you are back injured or pregnant, you'll leave about 2 fists width between your feet, between your heels. Otherwise, you can bring your heels, toes, knees, ankles together. Inhale to reach your fingertips up, and exhale, sit deep into your chair pose. You should be able to look over your knees and see your toes. If your shoulders are not quite that open yet this morning, send your hands out in front of you. Sending the pelvis forward as you descend the tailbone down, pulling your low belly in. Sit a little bit deeper. As you inhale, open your chest. Exhale, sit deeper. 3 more breaths. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Move back through your flow. Down dog is where we will meet. Lifting the right leg up behind you, opening the hips, stacking them. Maybe you look underneath your left armpit and you can see your right toes. Shoulders even with one another. Tiny ankle circles. Maybe you make big knee circles on the ceiling, one direction and the other. Exhale, sending that right foot forward. As you plant the back foot, we're setting up for warrior 1. Coming up, making sure that you can have your hips towards the front of your mat while also keeping that 90-degree bend in your front knee. So maybe you need to move the back foot out or in, shortening your stance. Once your feet are set up, that back toe reaching towards the top left corner of your mat. Pulling your belly in, shoulders away from ears. You can reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive down. Step back, move through your flow. Left leg lifts up behind you, opening the hips, keeping your shoulders in alignment with each other. Maybe you look underneath your right armpit and you can see your left toes. Tiny ankle circles. Maybe you make big knee circles on the ceiling, one direction, then the other. Stepping that left leg through, setting up for Virabhadrasana 1, left leg. Finding your stance here. 90-degree bend, front knee over your ankle. Sending that right hip forward, left hip back, low belly in, Mula Bandha on. Reaching your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sending the hands down. Stepping back to plank, moving through your flow. Hop, step, or jump, top of the mat. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to bend the knees, lifting the fingertips up, finding your chair pose, descending your tailbone. 3 breaths here. Sit a little deeper. Next, inhale, lifting all the way up, tiny back bend. Hands come to heart center. 2 breaths here. Inhale, lifting your fingertips up. Exhale, sit deep, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Plant the hands, move through your flow. Meeting in down dog. Right leg lifts up behind you, bending the knee, stacking the hips. Exhale, sending the right foot forward. Warrior 1. Setting up your stance, reaching your fingertips up, then bending the elbows, opening up through the heart here. So you have cactus arms, low belly is in. As you lift up, maybe you open, maybe you lift your gaze towards the ceiling. Exhale, send the hands down, step back, move through your flow. Knowing you can always skip the flow if you need to. Left leg lifts up behind you, stacking the hips, bending the knee. Exhale, send the left foot forward, setting up for warrior 1, other side. Finding your stance, sending the arms up, and then cactus arms, big open chest, lifting your gaze. Exhale, send the hands down, step back through plank, move through your flow. Meeting in down dog. Hop, step, or jump, top of the mat. Half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to bend the knees, lift the fingertips, chair pose. Inhale, coming all the way to standing. Tiny back bend, hands come to heart center. Samastihi, 2 breaths here. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, sit deep into your chair pose. 3 breaths. Descending the tailbone, low belly is on. Sending the pelvis forward. Sit deeper, one more breath. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Plant the hands, step back, move through your flow. Right leg lifts up behind you. Stacking the hips, opening them. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Warrior one. Reaching your fingertips up, opening up the elbows, chest, big open hearts. Cactus arms, lift the gaze. Maybe you work your gaze behind you. Exhale, drop the hands. Find a bind at your low back. Straighten the elbows if you can. If not, keeping them bent is fine. As you inhale to open the chest, exhale to find humble warrior. So sending that right shoulder on the inside of the right knee. Sending the booty in towards center line. Maybe you keep your fists at your low back or you reach them up towards the ceiling as you allow the crown to fall down towards the mat. Inhale to come back up. Release the bind. Reach the fingertips up. Bending the elbows. 2 more breaths. Exhale to swan dive down. Step back to plank. Move through your flow. Take a deep falling out breath here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. 1 more. Left foot comes up behind you, bending the knees, stacking the hips. Exhale, send the left foot forward. Setting up for warrior one. Reaching your fingertips. Bending the elbows, opening the chest. Sending that right hip forward, left hip back. Maybe you send your gaze behind you. Nice big open chest. Releasing the hands, finding the bind at your low back. You can keep the elbows bent, or maybe you reach the fist down towards the mat. As you inhale, open the chest. Exhale, sending the left shoulder on the inside of the left knee. Keeping your fists at your low back or reaching them up towards the ceiling. Keeping that bend in the front knee. Sending the booty towards the center line. Crown down towards the mat. Humble warrior. Inhale to lift. Releasing the bind, sending the fingertips up, opening up the chest 1 more time. Big deep breaths here. 1 more. Exhale to send the hands down, step back to plank, move through your flow. Finding yourself in down dog, tiptoeing up to the top of the mat. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Next, inhale, bending the knees, sending the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Descending the tailbone. We have 5 deep breaths here. So sit deeper each exhale. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, sit deep for 4. 3. Sit a little deeper. 2. Last breath. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, sending your hands to heart center, closing the eyes here. Mountain pose. Deep breaths. Inhale, lifting the fingertips, tiny back bend. Exhale to swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank, move through your flow. Meeting in down dog. Eight more deep breaths here. Five more breaths. Keep lifting up through the hips, sending the heels down, shoulders apart and away from the ears. Sending the knees down. We're in tabletop. Setting up for puppy pose one more time. So making sure that your hips are right over your knees here. As you send your hands forward, keeping the hips above the knees. Working your forehead or chin down onto the mat. You should be much more open here. Nice big open chest. Two more deep breaths. Pressing into the forearms, coming onto the hands, sitting, bringing your toes together, sitting back, sitting the hips back towards your heels, reaching the hands forward, child's pose. Forehead comes down to the mat. Hips keep reaching closer to your heels, settling in. Inhale, walking the hands back towards your knees. So we're gonna move through 3 times this floor vinyasa that I love. So if you'll just watch for a moment, we will be finding camel pose. So curling the toes under, unless it's in your practice to keep the fronts of your feet down. You're bringing hands up, reaching towards the ceiling as you open the chest and taking your fist, bringing the fists on either side of your sacrum, which is this diamond-shaped bone right above your tailbone. Fists come on either side of your sacrum, sending your elbows in towards one another, shoulder blades in. Okay, so you're also keeping your hips over your knees as you open the chest. Okay, that's one variation. If you have, I'd start with this one since we're doing it 3 times. Other variations are reaching back for your heels, which is a good option as long as you can keep lifting up through the chest and keeping your hips over your knees. So if you need a wall, it can be nice to practice this with a wall right in front of you so you know that you're keeping your hips nice and forward. Those are your variations. If you have a more advanced variation of this posture, you can go ahead and go there. So we'll go from our camel pose into forearms down on the mat. You can create a fist, keeping your elbows inside of your shoulders, curling the toes under and lifting the hips up into dolphin pose. So keeping the forehead and crown of the head lifted, you'll walk your toes in. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Then we'll send the knees down and come over into boat pose, right? Okay, so let's get started. See how much time we have left. Okay, perfect. So setting yourself up for camel pose, whichever variation. I like to lift my fingertips and open out, pressing on either side of the sacrum, sending the elbows towards one another, lifting the gaze. Big open hearts here. Releasing the toes. If that posture can make you a little nauseous because it's putting so much pressure on the kidneys. You're also opening up the abdomen here. So if you need to bring your forehead down on the mat, briefly, go ahead and go there. Otherwise, setting up for your dolphin pose, making sure the elbows are inside of your shoulders as you lift the hips up and back, walking the toes forward. Ultimately, your ears come on the insides of your biceps here. Keep lifting up through the hips, reaching the heels down. Deep breaths. Exhale, send the knees down, send the feet out to the side, setting up for boat pose. So bringing yourself onto your sits bones, balancing here, setting up for your Navasana, straight spine. Maybe you reach the toes up, sending the hands out, or you can keep the hands behind your thighs here. Breathe. Releasing. Coming onto hands and knees. Sit back onto the heels. Okay, let's run through that one more time. Coming up onto the knees, curling the toes under, setting yourself up for your camel pose. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Keep sending the hips and pelvis forward, opening up the chest. If you have cervical spine issues, keep gazing forward. Otherwise, you can even let your head fall back. 3 more breaths. Chin to chest, coming up, sitting back on your heels. Maybe bring your forehead to the mat briefly. Bringing the forearms in front of you, setting up for dolphin pose. Curling the toes under, lifting the hips up and back. Walking the toes forward. You can stay here, or if you'd like, lift the right leg up in your dolphin pose. Sending the right leg down, lifting the left leg up. Sending the left leg down. You have 2 more breaths here. You've got it. Keep sending the hips up, heels down. Exhale, send the knees down, send the feet out to the side. Setting up for your last Navasana, boat pose. Balancing on your sits bones. Feet up, maybe arms out, breathing. You can stay here. Or on your next exhale, hovering, low boat. Inhale to lift 5 times. Hover, lift, hover, lift. 2 more. Hover, lift, hover. Staying here, kicking the feet for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 2 breaths. You've got it. Exhale, bringing the knees in, giving them a big hug. Finding butterfly legs, Baddha Konasana. Inhale to grow tall through the crown of the head. Exhale, leading with the chest, forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, fold deeper. Inhale, walking the hands in, lifting up. Sending the legs out in front of you, setting up for Paschimottanasana. So bringing the hands to either sides of your hips. We'll inhale to lift the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, leading with the chest to forward fold. Reaching here for either, whatever you can reach for. Maybe it's your calves, maybe it's the ankles. Keeping that flat back, we'll inhale to half lift. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, coming up, bending the right knee. Taking the right hand behind you. Lifting the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. You can bring that left elbow on the outside of your right knee, or you can just hug the right knee in. Wherever you are, you're twisting to the right. Each inhale, you grow taller through the crown of the head. Exhale, twist. Maybe you gaze behind you. Each inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist deeper. Releasing, sending that right knee out to the right, turning the torso towards the left leg. As you reach the fingertips up, exhale, folding over head to knee, Janu Sirsasana. We'll inhale to half lift. Exhale, fold over that left leg. Inhale, coming back up, sending the right leg out, bending in the left knee, taking the left hand behind you, reaching the right fingertips up, sending that right elbow on the outside of your left knee or hugging it in, whichever works best for you. You'll inhale to grow tall through the crown of your head, and exhale, you'll send your gaze behind you. Each inhale, grow taller. Exhale, twist deeper. Releasing, coming back to center, sending the left leg out, or left knee out. That left heel is on the inside of your right thigh. Turning your torso over the right leg, reaching the fingertips up, and exhale, fold over the right leg. Head to knee, toes, or nose to knee, I'm not really sure, but it's Janu Sirsasana. As we inhale to half lift, exhale, folding over that leg. Releasing the fold, coming back up. So we're gonna set up for Shavasana. I'm gonna give you an option since we have this heart opening practice today. And you have a couple options here. You can, if you have a pillow or a blanket or a block, you're welcome to go here with me. We're gonna set up for a fish pose, but like a restorative fish pose. And I'll let you know when we're halfway through Shavasana in case you'd like to change it up. And you don't have to take this if you don't like to. You can take your block, and the top of the block comes just shy of your shoulder blades. So it would look something like this. Your tailbone and sacrum stays down on the mat. You can also have a block underneath your head if you have cervical spine issues, but it's a nice heart opener here. Now, if the block is a little bit too much, you're welcome to take a blanket, roll the blanket up along your spine, or if you have a bolster or a pillow, to make it even more restorative, you bring that blanket or bolster or pillow to your sacrum, and then you just fold over, okay? You can also have Baddha Konasana legs here. So wherever you are, whichever option you're taking, if you've paused to find your props, that's all good. We'll just breathe deep here, allowing yourself to open up through your chest. Now, once you've set up with the posture that works best for you, I want you to relax in your belly space. We'll take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Relaxing in the belly. Relaxing just a little bit deeper in your shoulders, allowing them to fall apart from one another. Swallowing one time. Allowing the tongue to fall away from the roof of your mouth. Relaxing the jaw. And finally, releasing in the space between your eyebrows. Nice, deep breaths here. You're welcome to stay here for the remainder of Shavasana. Or if you'd like to move into a traditional Shavasana, go ahead and go there. Removing any props if you'd like. Keep relaxing the face and shoulders, belly. Coming back to your breath. Coming back to life, wiggling through your fingers and your toes. Maybe you move into larger movements, wrist circles, ankle circles. Maybe reaching your fingertips up above your head, taking that nice, big, good morning stretch. You'll exhale to bring your knees into your chest, giving them a big hug, and then finding either your right or left side, whichever your preference. Using your free hand to push yourself up to an easy seat, keeping your eyes closed for just a couple more moments as we transition from our practice on the mat into the rest of the day. So we'll end class, if you'd like to open your eyes to see, with a Anahata Mudra, so Anahata being the heart chakra. Bringing your all fingertips towards one another, and the space between your thumbs and pinkies opens for the heart, right? So bringing this mudra in front of the heart, keeping the eyes closed. Breathing here, focusing on that heart space. Allowing yourself to be overcome by green light. Tilting the chin so that the space between your eyebrows gazes down into your Anahata Mudra. taking this moment to justify that love. Imminent and resounding love that exists within all of us. We'll end class by sounding Om, taking a deep inhale and exhale together. Inhaling. Exhale, let it go. We'll inhale to Om, inhaling. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti means peace. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. Namaste. Hope to see you all in the studio soon. Be one with your love. Show love to others. We all need it right now. And know that you are loved. Goodbye.